Of course, now that I'm missing my Quantanium rock, this blows.
Systems activating.
Oh, you're here too,
Systems
John?
on.
Where? In the yeah. I'm not. Every time I hit profile, it just says update your settings. At this time, I don't plan to send you any emails. This may change in the future. Hereby, I already accepted all that. Why can't I link my account?
Yep.
Ooh, 360. 360. We want 180. Maybe we'll find a tasty rock instead. I had a nice 37%er in front of me before all the shenanigans.
I only have a few seconds.
Yeah.
Pagan, I know that you're playing Star Citizen.
Yep.
But I just got Inaria for Elite. Linked up with my account, but I forgot where I clicked on it. Do you? Oh, no, I found it. John, if you go to your.
Oh, okay, never mind. Hold on. Back up a step. I thought you said EDD. B is what you linked. I didn't know you could link. Or, yeah, okay. Never
So
mind.
you're looking in space here for, is it a mole is what you use there, Pagan?
Yes, I'm using a mole, which is a 1 pilot seat, 3 mining turret seat ship. Let me show you what I mean. So right in here in the cockpit, there's a pilot seat and a co-pilot seat. Co-pilot seat largely does nothing right now. Right underneath the pilot seat, there's a mining turret right in here. And on the left and right sides, there are mining turrets that come out where it says 08. That will roll up and a mining turret will extend out. So 3 people can mine at the same time in the mole with 1 person flying. Or 1 person can just hop seats. The front turret is encapsulated, so you don't have to have a helmet on to use it. The left and right or port and starboard turrets are vented to space, so you have to have a suit on. It's a lot different from Elite's mining in that the ship is already designed to prospect. So right here, what I'm doing is I go into the scanning interface with a button. This sends out a ping. It says, "Hey, is there anything interesting out there?" And it goes, "Yeah, we got stuff out there." So then once I find something, I put it in my crosshairs and I squeeze a button to scan it, and the ship will scan that asteroid and tell me what's in it. In this case, that asteroid has 1.7% diamond, 35% corundium, and 1.10% bexolite, and the rest is inert. Diamond is worth about 5 credits a unit. Corundium is worth about 2 credits a unit. Bexolite's worth about 35 credits per unit. So that rock is really not... Those rocks really aren't the best for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on and look for a rock that's got Quantanium in it. Quantanium goes for about 80 credits a unit.
Okay, so it's basically the trick for carriers in Elite then.
Yeah, but it's
kind of the commodity.
It's basically the... And if you look on the left-hand side, you can see little sparklies come into play, and then they turn into rock shapes. So that basically means the ship's scanners went, there's something interesting over here, and as you get closer to it, it goes, oh, those are rocks. So I'm going to fly over here and try to scan it. If they scan, then I can know what's inside of them. If they don't, then I call them ghost rocks. We don't like ghost rocks.
I was thinking maybe before you do another Star Citizens thing to try to figure out how to get out of the hangar, and then I could be like a crewman or something for your ship or something, if that would be easy to do without having a newbie like me slow things down. I can just be a crewman.
No, it's all good. I'm happy to show you how to get out of the ship. I have 2 different accounts, so that's never an issue.
Right.
So, in this case, I'm going to show you how the mining works in Star Citizen.
Okay.
It's quite a bit different than it is in Elite. One of these rocks had laranite in it, which is really not bad. Laranite, 17% laranite. Okay, laranite's worth about 30 to 35 credits per unit. And that rock has one of them had 17% laranite. It's about 5,000 tons. So we can do the math and know that the fair point of that rock is laranite.
So again, it's just like in Elite, while you're trying to get the rocks that have the higher percentage of the desired material, and ignore the ones that have like 6% when you have 66%.
Yeah, so
Right. Yeah.
I'm trying to get my crosshairs just right on the right rock. 17, okay. So this rock right here is the 17% laranite rock. Okay, so let's get in position. And I'll show you about mining in Star Citizen. It's quite a bit different. I know from flying this mole around for a couple of years about where I need to position the ship, where the center turret's going to be in a nice spot. And underneath the dash, you see that little like brush bar. There's a bar that goes across the.
Right. It's like where your
right there.
joystick.
Yeah, right there. See that little bar right there? I know that if I get the asteroid below that bar, just a little bit below that bar, and between 70 and 77 meters away from it, I'm in a nice cherry spot. So I'm going to back up to about 77 meters. The rock is below the asteroid. I mean, the rock is below that little bar, so you can see the turret now with the sunlight hitting it. And that rock that I want to shoot is right there. So there's the port mining turret right inside there, and the starboard. They're not going to be in use tonight. We're going to use mine. So I'm going to get out of the seat, and I'm going to run through the ship and get in that other turret. So I'm going to go out this door, turn around, go down this ladder. We're going to fireman ladder slide here, actually, so that we can get down this ladder quickly.
So, if lacking of better terms, the mole is kind of like a warp-capable shuttle for mining, or is it a very small auxiliary ship?
It's a larger size ship. It's the biggest mining ship currently in the game.
Okay.
There's a prospector, which is a single seat miner where you don't have to hop seats. The pilot seat is the mining seat, and that goes for around 2 million in game. The mole runs for about 5. There's a capital ship, meaning a super big El Grande ship, that will be a mining and a refinery built in. It's called the Orion. I have one. I'm just waiting on it to come into the verse. That one is so big that it doesn't go chasing the asteroids. It has tractor beams and a claw that pulls the asteroids inside of its maw and grinds it up and then processes it. So it'd be like if you do it mining with a fleet carrier. Imagine taking a fleet carrier in the asteroid belt. You're not going to go maneuvering a fleet carrier to grab the asteroid. You're going to pull the asteroid into you.
It's similar to what an Eve would be the Rocal. So yeah.
Gotcha. So what we're going to do now is I'm in the mining turret. I'm going to engage the laser. And there's 2 modes on the laser. This is the fracture mode. So on the HUD, on the upper left, you see mining laser, the type of laser head that's on it, the range, if it's in the optimal range, and it is. And underneath it, you see mining modules. Those are expansions you buy to put on the mining laser. They add buffs and they take penalties. The 2 that I'm running, a Vox C3, they help with the instability. The instability is the power level jumping up and down on that rock. If you look on the right-hand side of the HUD, you're going to see the asteroid information. Hey, that asteroid's 5,122 tons. It's 0.38 in instability after the buffs that have been applied. The resistance to taking heat is 0.07, which is good. You're going to see the composition of it and how much cargo space we have taken up in our mole. Currently, cargo 0. So we have 96,000 units we can take up in our mole. And around the center, you're going to see the right-hand side tells you how much energy is in that rock. Right now, we're about to get into the green zone, which is the rock is starting to break. So there she is. She's just starting to crest into the green. And on the left side of that little circle is the amount of power I'm putting in. So I'm tweaking the amount of power. After I get into the green, I don't want it to go into the red, so I adjust that with your scroll wheel on your mouse, or in my case, I bind it to my left joystick so that I can move my left joystick to increase the power or decrease the power.
So this is similar to like when you put the explosives in the Elite Dangerous one, except you are powering up.
Absolutely. And there it
or-
goes. It just broke. So in about 10
Okay.
seconds, you'll actually see it break. There you go. So she
Okay.
broke apart into 6 pieces. So now each piece has its own composition. So I'm not really interested in the tungsten. The tungsten's only worth like 1 or 2 credits a unit, so pass. I'm interested in the laranite because that's worth more. So this rock here, this fragment is 100% tungsten. That's a big pass, thank you. Behind it is tungsten and 90% laranite. I want that laranite. This big chunk on the bottom.
They almost need to whatever that ship salvager game.
Mm-hmm.
They almost need like a material so you can toss the parts you don't want out of your way.
Well, there's a trick to that.
Like a punter.
Yeah, so what you can do is I could either get out of this seat, get into the pilot seat, and move the mole, or because I'm a lazy bastard, I'm going to break this rock in front of it. And what I'm going to do is just before it breaks, I'm going to shoot it into the overcharge so it has a more energetic break and separates further. So I'm lowering my energy right now so that the rock continues to break. And when it gets close to breaking, I'm going to shoot it into the overcharge so it breaks apart a lot more energetically. So right about it now. And you see it vibrating.
Oh yeah.
So now the pieces will fly further out of my way. And you notice how they're purple. So the big rock was orange. We broke it into 6 pieces. They were orange. Now we're purple. Purple means we can harvest. And I can flip a button on my joystick, and the laser goes from, hey, let's break it apart, to let's pulverize it and hoover it. So that's the intended mechanic of the game. What I'm going to do, because I don't want this purple rock in my way, is I'm going to go back into break mode, and I'm going to cause this rock to vaporize. That's a pro miner tip. We're going to keep it about 7 or 8% energy. And we're going to just let it heat up to the point that it will fracture, and then it will turn to powder and get out of my way. You can see it starting to heat up. All nice and glowy, and it's starting to vibrate. And that's usually about where you want it. And as long as it didn't cool down too quickly, it should fracture and then turn to dust. And we're dealing with a little server, like, there she goes. Now she's out of my way. So now I can do what I actually wanted to do. Break this laranite rock up.
So are they going to add like gas harvesting too, or is that going to be like a scoop science fiction type thing?
Well,
Hey
currently,
Ron, how are your cats?
there's a few ships that can siphon hydrogen out. Well, most ships can siphon hydrogen out of their environment right now. Later, that's going to change, and only specifically equipped ships are going to have built-in fuel scoops, so they'll harvest their own.
Got it.
And there's a ship called the Starfarer, which is a space fuel tanker.
Oh.
Yeah, I have 2 waiting to go. The next release, ship-to-ship refueling comes into play. So I'll be able to park the Starfarer at a station, buy petrol, and fly out to someone who needs it. They can dock with the ship and do spatial refueling. So a lot like aerial refueling is.
Like
Oh,
the fuel
cool.
rats.
Yep, basically, but instead of using limpets to transfer the fuel, they will hard dock or soft dock with the Starfarer. The little boom arm will come out, just like the ship, the aircraft do nowadays, and we will fuel it and charge them. That ship also has the capability of refining hydrogen into usable fuel later. Right now, I don't think they're turning that feature on right now. I don't think they're ready for that.
So they'll have what? Will they do like the science fiction trope for scooping gas giants with hydrogen? Like something that could do that, or it's going to be an external craft.
Well,
Yeah.
there are ships that can siphon hydrogen out of the environment. The 100
Oh, okay.
the 100 series has it built in. It's designed to do that. The 300 series is designed to do that. Right now, almost every ship can do that. It's not intended for that. It's just kind of a workaround they
Right.
put in place. But later, once things are set the way they want, the 100 series and the 300 series from Origin will be able to siphon fuel just by flying through space.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Wait, what?
Yes, they'll be able to siphon fuel just by flying through space.
So you have unlimited fuel.
With those ships, technically you have unlimited hydrogen. You're still going to need quantanium fuel to travel in fast travel mode. So what happens is your ships use hydrogen for thruster power, and they use quantanium to do fast travel. Meaning, think of it kind of like warp speed. I guess would be more like like super cruise / frame shift. So right now my ship isn't really using a lot of hydrogen. I mean, it's in space, it's drifting, everything is drifting. And what I'm doing is I am hoovering these rocks. And I need to check something real quick. So we're going to let this hoover. And we're going to go over here. What the hell is it doing now?
What is what doing?
It's doing that warning again, but the temperature's nowhere near high enough for this. Let me move
Can you set a temperature limit on your
Not when it's
computer?
in this mode. When it's in this mode, it's not letting me... This is what I'm seeing right now. And fortunately, when I click on it, it just doesn't let me do anything. See, I
So
click.
is it a Star Citizen bug that's driving it that hot, or is it just the computer?
No. What does that say? I'm coming out of Super Cruise, so I can't really look.
It says overheating. The device is working in failsafe mode, and the problem is I can't get into the cooling settings to speed the fan up because all it does is put this annoying error message up. So I can't get into the Capellix to speed the fans up because of the message. So I'm like, really? This is poor design, guys. How am I supposed to do this if you're not letting me in?
How can you have any pudding if you don't clean your feet?
Right? I mean, like here I'm clicking on Compellix and all it does is go, hey, there's an error. I don't have any option to... See? I mean, my coolant temp is 58 degrees.
So that's your sensors.
So I'm like, okay, guys, I need to speed it up. Okay, well, let's fucking see. It won't let me. It won't let me do anything. All I can do is click the little message. So, I mean, like, unless I'm missing something crucial, that's pretty stupid design. I mean, I need to speed up the fan so it's cooling faster, but you're not going to let me.
So when you installed that, was there any other than power? Was there any other plugs that you plugged in? Like, did it plug into a CPU fan header?
Yes. Yes, it plugs into a CPU fan header. And it also plugs into the USB header, and it plugs into a SATA power connector.
Okay. H100. Elite.
So I mean, if I could just get in there and adjust the fan speed, I can speed the fans up, but it's not letting me. It's just giving you a warning. It's just like, come on, guys, let me increase the fan speed here, and we'll be just peachy.
What is giving you the warning? Is it the actual computer, or is it an application on the computer?
It's the application. It's saying the coolant temperature is 57.6 degrees.
Which is not so.
No, it's not bad. No.
if your coolant temperature is at 50, what did you said 50, 57,
57.
your CPU is probably running at 67, which is still well. It's just a little warm, but it's still well within operating range.
Yeah. So, but anytime I click on that Capellix, it doesn't let me do anything except go okay. So I can't adjust the fan speed because it's in this alert mode. Honestly, it seems like it's pretty fucking stupid design because, like, okay, you need to speed the fans up so it's exchanging heat better, but you can't do that because I have to click this stupid message that says it's overheating. I can't click device settings. I can't click cooling.
So wait, it's your AIO overheating, right?
Yes. It says that
Okay.
the temperature's too hot.
So I was just making sure it wasn't
Yeah.
GPU related. I was like,
No. So I mean, I can't really.
Well,
Go ahead.
I'm reading something from 6 years ago, so keep that in mind. But it is about the original version of the H100i.
Okay.
The second cable is for the Corsair link. As I said before, in one end it has a micro USB connector, quote or parentheses, that connects to the pump in parentheses, and in the other end it has a 9-pin connector in parentheses USB 2.0 in parentheses. If you connect the second cable to the USB 2.0 connector on the motherboard, then you can control the pump and rad fan speeds.
Yes, that's already done. I've been able to do that, and normally I don't have any problem doing it. But right now it's kind of like, fuck you. I'm gonna grab this fan. I bought a fan. I'm gonna move the fan around a little bit. Let me click into games so it doesn't log me out here real quick. So let me move this fan again.
All right, I know you're not going to be able to talk. Are you going to be able to hear us?
I would say that's a
No.
negatory.
That's a negatory. I just watched him take his headphones off.
Okay. So I have a fan behind the desk that's bringing cool air in from outside and blowing it across. Because it may just be that it's in too tight of a space.
And then my next question do you have it set up to pull air in or push air out?
Pull air in. And the two fans on top of the case are set to pull air out. So you got those. The case is a NZXT H510, so it's got these vents going down the rear, the back rear side.
I have the NZXT 510i.
This is just the 510. It's not the I, but yeah, same case. It's got the little vents on the back side.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not a big fan of that. Mm-hmm.
My recommendation would be to move that fan to the top, or move that rad to the top.
I don't think I can. Half of it would be covered.
Oh, is there? You're making me look at mine because I thought there was two on top.
Let me.
Oh, there is only. Yeah. You're right. Where?
So what I've thought about doing is grabbing the Dremel and putting some holes in the front of the case. Here's the front of the case right here. The vents are on the side.
Yeah, just like mine.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's a really, really poor design. Because
I don't think it's getting enough airflow.
Agreed.
That's what I think. That or the other option, if as long as your hoses aren't an issue, is turn it around so it's trying to blow the air out the front.
Mm-hmm.
But then you're just pulling heat from your GPUs, so that's.
Yeah.
I think for your case, you may have been better off going with a 120 instead of a 240.
Gotcha. So. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm gonna look something up and send it to you if you're okay with that.
Yeah, but the temperature's drawing. Since I put that fan in the front, it's down to 55 degrees. So she's definitely helping. And it may just be that I have to move the computer to the top of the desk. I mean, it's quiet enough so they can get plenty of air around it. So, Laranite, there we go. 100% Laranite, we'll take it. So it's different from Elite in that you don't laser fragments off and have collectors grab them. You use a tractor beam. There's
No, cool.
yeah, there's a mining buggy. Think of a mining buggy that's got the same principle. It's got a laser that breaks deposits on the ground, and then you crush them and hoover them. There's another fragment down here. Okay, cool. So that's everything we got here. The cargo we're hauling right now, Laranite, is not volatile, so I don't have to worry about it exploding in 15 minutes. I don't have to worry about it going inert or blowing up my ship or anything like that. So I'm just going to continue to mine. So I want to hop out of the pilot
So
seat.
there is cargo that is volatile. That's interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's an interesting change on it. I like that.
Yeah, and rumor, it's not substantiated, but rumor is that there will be others that do the same thing. What do you...
Request docking.
Go up to the ladder, space dude.
It's kind of like the Star Wars with the Han Solo movie, the newer Han Solo movie where he had to move that material.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of cool.
Right, let me see if I can get in here and adjust this thing now. Yes, I can. Okay. So here's the fans are running in extreme. Let's run that in balanced. Actually, let's run that in extreme. And alerts. So emergency shutdown. I guess we're editing this when temp is 70 degrees. Why is this? It won't let me do anything with this. Huh.
Why is it only doing this with Star Citizen, but never did this when you were playing ED last time?
And it was fine. Tonight it's a problem. The other night it was just peachy. Computer was in the same place.
How warm is it in your room?
That's a good point. It may be a little warmer.
Because radiators are only as effective as the ambient air in the room.
True.
I sent you a link. It's not the most beautiful case, but it has lots of airflow through the front, and it's less than $50.
Ooh. Okay.
But that does require you to shut down and tear everything out of your case and.
Okay. Well, I have my old case, and my old case. Let me show you what it was. My old case is a Antec 900 or Antec 500. There it is. My old case was an Antec 900. This was my old one I was using before. So she's a big girl.
Yeah, with no
old school.
Yes, yeah. So I don't mind if my user. You should be in streamer mode on Discord. You can open up that link that I sent you. It's to Newegg. And it is a cleaner view. Actually, if you want to Google Cougar MX330 midcase, it's the same. You're gonna find the same link that I sent you through Discord.
Cougar
MX330.
Will said he had a mid or full tower laying around.
Yeah, just a 330. And then I'm...
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's cheaper on Newegg. I'm looking at Newegg right now for $47.99.
Okay, so open front rads, plenty of room for the radiator.
Yep.
I
And,
don't
and
care.
you
Go away. Thank you.
and you can still put you can actually have 3 exhaust fans, which would force more. It would help out your AIO fans by exhausting
Oh,
the air as quick as possible.
is there enough room to top mount this radiator? Oh, maybe. That looks like there may be enough room to top mount that radiator,
Yeah,
too.
exactly. That would, in case you have an air bubble, which is what I'm concerned with, without seeing a picture of what you're actually running.
Mm-hmm.
I'm worried that there may be air in your AIO when you installed it, the air may have not have transferred. So that's one thing that I am concerned with. Not saying that is the problem, but I am concerned with it because that AIO should not be having issues keeping your CPU cool, because I feel like you're not running it that hard, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I like this case.
Like I said, the link I sent you is for Newegg, and it's on sale for $47.99. Normally $49.99. And the one that I sent you has a full acrylic transparent window with USB 3.0.
Nice.
Yeah, there it is.
Thank you, Miss
No,
Gaines.
no, that's the G. I don't know what's the difference between the G and the one I sent you, but they're different cases.
Mm-hmm. MXG is 59, MX330.
It's the second. We'll go down one row.
There you go.
Those are the recommend, and then it's right there, $47.99. I mean, it's not the most glamorous case, but I also try to pick one that's not very expensive either.
Yeah.
But that's it's a mid tower, and it will do anything and everything you want it to.
Nice. Thank you. We're going to minimize that baby and let it run. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. That's the only downside that I've found to these NZXT 510s is that like I run air cooled, so I don't have the issues. But it's trying to suck that much air through those little vents on one side of the case to get air through a rad, I can see being problematic.
Yeah, I moved that fan in the back of the desk underneath it, blowing forward, and I can already feel the temperature difference in this room. So
yeah, and it'll take longer for an AIO to normalize the room along with the AIO. But like my air cooler will heat my room faster, but it dissipates heat faster, whereas the AIO has to warm. The CPU has to warm the contact, and then once it warms the contact warms, it takes anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes to equalize the water temperature to where everything's running at max capacity. But I think you're running into an airflow issue.
yeah, this is brand new in the box. It'd be crazy if there was air in it already, but it could happen.
They can.
The way that it's mounted, the radiator is mounted vertically with the hoses on the bottom. And the CPIO block is mounted with the hoses going down from the CPIO block. So the highest point is the radiator opposite the hoses.
Right, but you're for sure that is above where your water block is at.
Correct. The radiator sits about right here, and the water block, the GPIO, sits about right here. So the top part of the radiator is definitely higher than the CPU block.
Okay, I had to wait 10 seconds to see the video.
Yeah. I understand. So what I'm doing right now is I'm looking for a rock that's going to be much more productive financially. But we do already have some laranite in there that we can refine and sell. I would just want the rocks that are worth more money. And I appreciate all of the help.
Yeah, not a problem.
And I did finally get your greeting in there.
You're good.
But you won't hear it through Discord.
And I have the stream muted because
Yeah.
I don't need the extra sound.
That's fine. It's fine.
I have it on my second monitor, and I'm watching and seeing a game that I'd like to play that I can't touch. But yeah.
Come on. You got, really? You got nothing? Alright. Fuck you then. We are going to do some sideways travel. Let's go to Arc L5. What we're going to do is we're going to engage our fast travel mode to go about 20 or 30 kilometers and then break out.
Quantum travel engaged.
So 969. That's about 20 or 30.
Quantum travel complete.
So all we've done is we basically used our fast travel to travel laterally in this giant asteroid belt. Where we are, see these sparklies right here? It's a giant asteroid belt that goes around the entire system. So we just use our fast travel to kind of do a slight little hop sideways and stay inside that belt.
Oh, cool.
And I basically do that instead of burning out a lot of hydrogen flying and flying and flying looking for rocks. If I don't get something I want, then I will fast travel 10, 20 clicks. Do it again. Fast travel 10, 20 clicks. It's just an easier way to do it where I use my quantanium rather than my hydrogen. So we have 2 clusters over here, about 6 clicks away. Hopefully one of them has quantanium in it in a high enough quantity. So there's our sparkle. Do we have a ghost rock?
It's alpha, alright.
It's definitely alpha, alright. So we can't scan that rock, it's a ghost rock. Another reminder the game is an alpha. Sometimes stuff spawns and it's not really there. And these are... I don't think these are physically there either. I can shoot right through them. And they're also not glowing. When I send out a ping, everything else glows green. Those are just kind of like, no. So, those are ghost rocks. The sensor HUD says they're there, but they're not there. They're the red October of asteroids.
You need to send it to the maintenance man. These glitches aren't fixed yet.
Right? The maintenance man replies on the log, what glitches? Be specific.
Are they? Is it plugged in?
Right? Have you tried turning it
Yeah.
off and on again?
And no, you don't put the coffee cup in the holder.
Can we scan
I like
this
seeing.
rock?
I like seeing the Reddit post about IT people asking if they've restarted their system recently, and the end users like, oh yeah, and then they get there that hasn't been restarted in like 700 days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks like
It's similar to the hams when they talk about this lady. She's holding the soldering iron with her hands on this hot part. And it's
Oh,
like,
Lord.
I doubt that really gets that thing's done. As a model, it's like, how dumb can you be? And then to get it as a model for electronics type stuff. Jeez.
Yeah. Okay. More laranite. 17 or 13% out of a 5,000 ton rock, so
So sometimes you'll find, just like we do here, the 66%ers equivalent. Like, it's the mother load.
yeah. Well,
Right.
one of the nice things about mining out here in the air in Halo, several nice things, but One is that it's really, really hard for someone to find you. I mean, this belt is incredibly huge. Even if someone knew I was out here and was on my server, they would have to stop and start quantum travel to try to find me. And it's quite literally a needle in a giant haystack. The other thing that I like is the rocks don't get any bigger than 5,122 tons. So a single person in a single mining seat can break them. And the highest percentage that I've seen out here wound up netting on a single rock, wound up netting me 45%. My hole was like 45 SCU, so I was half full. Now this rock has quantanium in it, but it's not a high enough quantity for me to be interested in. So if you look over on
So
the
it's like a 6%er or something
yeah,
equivalent.
yeah. The thing about it is it isn't like you can just shoot the rock and gather off the bits you want. I could go over here, I could crack this rock, and it would break into 6 chunks, break those 6 chunks, and hope that one of those 6 chunks breaks into enough pieces where the quantanium percentage is high enough. That's a lot of work, and I'll be honest with you, it's been my experience that it doesn't happen. So,
That makes sense that it wouldn't. So you
because
basically, there's a time is money aspect. I like that.
yeah, well, also bear in mind that if you look in the hold, there's Laranite, which is decent, and I don't mind having, but there's also some corundium in there too, because you can't filter out and go, I only want this. So it isn't like Elite where you can go, oh, there's an ignored list. I don't want any fragments of this. I only want fragments of this and this and this. So whatever's in that rock, when it's a purple and you break it, that's what you're getting in your hold when you use the
So
extraction method.
sometimes the yield's kind of tainted, basically, is what
Yes,
like
yes.
mechanical.
So that's why you want to cherry pick your loads. And like right here, I got 2 more ghost rocks. Can't scan them. I'm gonna keep moving. And we have more rocks that are just popping into view here, so we're gonna scan these too. That little diamond should turn into a rock. There it goes. So out here in the halo, you're like, okay, is that a ghost rock? No. Okay, is it a good rock? No. In this case, I've learned from looking at the overview stats on the left-hand side whether I even want to look further. On the left, you see the overview. It says the mass, 4931, the optimal power range, the overcharge, and the power transfer resistance. Quantanium rocks have a power transfer resistance of over 50. So if I'm scanning this rock from a distance and I see power transfer ratio under 50, I'm not even going to bother looking at the right-hand side of the HUD. I'm just going to keep moving. Because Quantanium's real hard. It's very resistant. The power level jumps all over the place. It's a challenge to mine it, as it should be.
So the game, it's our dilithium equivalent.
Yes, it's hey,
Real rare
cool.
and real hard to find in one sense.
Yeah. Well, here it is.
I mean,
in
you
Halo.
got millions of
Yeah.
asteroids here, but yeah.
But not every single one's mineable. Not like Elite, where every single rock has something in it you can mine. Some of these are just cosmetic. But we do have a rock party here. We've got 6 rocks, and we'll see what they have. Hopefully they're Quantanium. Power transfer is 27. It's too low to be Quantanium. How about these 3 over here? Are they part of the same cluster? Or are they technically 2? Because I've seen it go both ways. Nope. They are shit. So we're going to go over here.
So in this part, it's kind of like when you're using whatever that thing to scan for the cores and
The pulse
Elite.
wave. Yep.
Okay.
Just like the pulse wave. So here I am scanning one of these rocks. Hopefully it's Quantanium. Power transfer is 34. It's got Bexolite in it. Bexolite's worth quite a bit. Bexolite's worth 30 to 40. That's a 10%er right there. So let's get a little closer and see if maybe we got a bunch of 10 or 20%ers. If we do, we may stoop below our normal requirements and mine them anyway.
But at least the asteroids aren't spinning and all this yet.
No, they are not.
Right.
They are not. when I first started mining in the Halo, the asteroids are all one of the same 4. There's the same 4 asteroids. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Kind of like it is in Elite. Oh, look, it's the one that looks like it was a banana. Okay, we got the one over here, that's a teardrop. You know, we got this guy over here, it looks like this. I mean, it's the same 4 shapes that just repeat over and over. And that was the way it was when I first started mining. Now there's some variety at least, which is nice. That's a 4.49 pixel rock. All by itself, I wouldn't even bother. But we're going to scan this guy right here. Maybe we'll get a couple 10% pixels, which in case, you know, it's not too bad. Nope, that's shit. Shit, rock.
Move along.
Absolutely, move along. Nope, we're gonna keep moving. Nothing here looks terribly interesting, so we're just gonna keep moving. And, ooh, 8 clicks out this way. Let's go check this out.
So is this basically a random dice that it's what's doing, or is it like a map where things
Yep, it's RNG
get
system.
predictable? Okay. That's why you justify the Quantanium burst to do a lateral move. That makes sense.
Yep. And I'll be honest with you, once I harvest Quantanium, it's a time game. The timer starts once I start harvesting that Quantanium and store it in my ship. Once I use my pink laser and it starts going into my ship, there's a 14-minute timer. Well, it goes a minute and then it counts down 14 minutes. So
it blows up or degrades basically,
yeah.
unless you contain it. Got it.
Yep, you got to get your ship stored within 15 minutes of that Quantanium hitting your hull. Or your ship explodes, or it's just useless, it goes inert. And that's assuming that the server timers are just right. If you get a place where the server timers are having a little bit of an issue, it could be faster than that. When they first put this into the game, we didn't know it was 14 minutes. And sometimes you'd get lucky and you would have, 12, 13 minutes to get it back to the ship, to the place and sell it. And other times it was just like, that was quick. Why did it explode? It also makes you more volatile. Hitting something with Quantanium jostles it and makes it much more fragile.
Oh.
So you definitely want to be careful. We did find 2 Quantanium rocks. They were 3% each, so we're looking. And I don't know if that's the way it is actually, but it seems to be, we've noticed, that you don't find Quantanium, then you start finding the 2s and 3s, and then you find the 15s, and then you find the 30s and 40s. So if you are mining in your prospector, a 30%er would fill your prospector up, and you would run back to the station, store your ship, and tell the refinery to process it. Because remember, your ship doesn't do the refining. Your ship just basically carries the bits back to a refining station, and they do the refining. So to put it in elite terms, you're running collectors, you're running laser collectors, and then storing it in your cargo racks. Power transfers 20, that's nothing. So, what do we got here? I don't see any more squares. Let's, we're going to give this 10 clicker a chance, and then we'll go on the other direction. So at least there's variety in the belt now to look at. You can mine on planets too. It's faster to mine on planets, but you're more susceptible to pirates and griefers. Because the pirates and griefers know Lyria is a hotspot for Quantanium, there's miners there. And you do get asshats who do want to come by and shoot a mining ship. Because that's challenging PvP play.
Oh yeah, they're just tier farmers, yeah.
At griefers, yeah.
Yep. No respect.
Yep. ghost rock.
It's
clicks.
Alpha. Alright.
So we are actually having some shitty luck. We had some good luck finding a rock earlier, and then we got the whole thermal thing, and I shut down the computer. Coolant temp's running 56 degrees right now. Come on, be Quantanium. Power transfer 68, we got Quant. Yay! Okay, so on the left-hand side, you see your power transfer resistance is 0.68. Remember my previous statement that Quantanium rocks have a higher number on the left. You see that in stability, 7.63. That's a crazy number. Without boosts to a mining laser, that the energy would just bounce all over the place. It'd be real hard to keep it to a manageable level and get it into the green and keep it in the green. It'd want to bounce out of the green or and into the red. But luckily, our mining lasers have pluses. We've spent good money for a mining laser with bonuses. And that Quantanium rock has orange speckles in it. So visually, you can go, what's a Quantanium rock? This one's 29%. If we were in a prospector, that would just about fill us. It won't fill us, but we're greedy bastards and we need to make money, so we're going to take whatever we can find tonight. So 74 clicks. The top of the rock is below the brush guard. We're going to center the ship on it. Since I'm going to be in a hurry once I break this rock down and I run back to the pilot seat, we're going to take some steps now before the crunch. We're going to set our destination and our ship's nav so that when I run to the pilot seat, all I've got to do is hit the button to charge my quantum drive, align on my destination, and hit the button and go. So now we're going to get out of the pilot seat, run down the mining seat, rinse and repeat. With a little bit of a difference this time. Hey, Ron, what's up?
What's going on?
Showing these guys how to do Quantanium mining in Star Citizen. Guys and
Yeah,
girl,
I've
sorry.
been for a minute.
You're okay.
Yep.
In that sense, it's neutral.
Yeah. How about you, Ron? Did you have a good time with Sharon's birthday?
Yeah, it was a good weekend. Today's been crap.
Really?
My oven decided to quit working.
Oh shit, dude! Really?
Oh man.
I'm sorry. That's
Oh.
rough.
Wonderful. So I don't have supper and it's almost midnight.
Oh, dude, really? I'm sorry.
Oh well.
That's peanut butter and jelly sandwich time.
Oh hell no, I'm gonna eat.
Oh, okay. I like those air cookers. They're good for stuff.
Yeah, I was talking to Mrs. B the other day that I'd like to get one of those convection cookers.
You mean an air fryer?
That would be the one.
Mhm.
Yeah, I have one. I will stand firmly on high ground and say that it is the best thing I've ever owned.
Yeah. I've got one that I got from my grandma because she passed, and then I have my other ones that are just for cooking chicken and such. And it's like, yep, it's great in the summer when it's hotter than heck and you don't want to eat up the house.
Right.
I literally use my air fryer to cook everything from chicken nuggets and pizza rolls to salmon and fried chicken and all that stuff. It's great.
Well, Ron, I'm sorry to hear about your shitty time with your oven.
Say la vie.
Bye-bye oven.
That's the stupid little computer board in it.
Is it a economical fix, or is it better just to yank the oven and get a new one?
Sadly, that damn board probably cost about as much as a new stove.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yep.
I sure
Yeah.
like my induction stove. More energy goes to the food, so it kind of is like better things than gas. I just love it.
Rush, are you talking about convection?
No, induction. It's using
Induction oven.
what Tesla did a lot of his inventions to cook.
Well, we have gas.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, you don't need induction. I don't have gas here, so.
With the gas, pretty much the majority of it goes for heat.
Right.
Hard to get more efficient. But I live in a part of the country where we have really, really, really good natural gas prices too. So
Gotcha.
I run on propane 'cause I live out in the middle of nowhere, so
Whoa, that was an
Yeah,
energetic departure.
if you're on the grid with power.
Did you see
Whoa.
that? She was like,
Whoa.
I'm going to go over here and say hi to Pagan. Give us a kiss, Pagan. Give us a kiss. Oof. Oofda. We're going to be moving a mole here in a hot minute. Because we can't even reach those rocks. So, let's break and then we'll move. That's quartz. Pass. Thank you. You do not need to make a stop by the, we'll see, 100% Quantanium. That's going to be a nice break. So, Ron, did I tell you I lost 3 million worth of Quantanium the other day?
okay.
Yeah, I was testing the build, and I put the Quantanium into C2 and flew down to Crusader. It dropped me out. It crashed the desktop twice. Lost the C2. That was pissed. 3 million worth of Quantanium gone.
I
Wow.
assume it's harder to make money in Star Citizen than it is in.
Well,
EV.
your ratios are lower too. Your average
Jump
fighter
out.
costs
Like
$1
tomorrow.
million.
Oh
Jump
yeah.
Jumptown makes good money, but it starts tomorrow, and you have to have a crew to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So
There
do
was-
you think that's also a friendly price, or is it going to get harder when it would go gold?
I think they're going to do some rebalancing and some adjustments because
Oh,
right
okay.
now, yeah. Right now they're more interested in making the desired playtesting profitable for playtesters. So like, whenever mining is their first loop that they're actually fully exploring. Like, okay, you can mine with your hands, you can mine with a buggy, you can mine with a ship. You can now refine it. You now have to take the refined goods and cargo and sell them. I mean, initially, mining was this magical beam that sucked goods out of the rock, and you went to any station and you sold it, and they gave you monies. Then it became a lot more refined, where you had modules to put on the mining heads to give you buffs, and then they added better types of ores and stuff to mine. So it was like the volatile ore, the Quantanium ore. That's a fairly new addition. And then they added the refinery process to it, and then they added the cargo hauling. So I mean, it's the first play loop that they're focused on and getting, fully explored. And they're even adding gadgets in the next release. So like this rock right here was pretty unstable. I mean, if I didn't have these buffs on my laser, I would have really struggled to break it. Or if you rented a prospector out and had the stock mining head that you can't change out, you would have really struggled to break that if you even could. Because you can't change out the components on a rental. They're locked in. You can't put a better mining head on it. You can't add these modules and stuff. So there's something calling a mining gadget that's coming out. And what the mining gadget's going to do is something that you will EVA out of the ship, attach it to the rock, and set it, and it will give you a bonus. So people in a rental prospector who're like, man, everything's locked down. I can't put a Lancet head on it, or a Helix head, or a Stampede head, or something to make it easier to mine this rock. They're stuck with the default head. They can put that gadget on the rock, and it will help compensate for that and make it easier. And they stated that in some cases, you'll be able to use that gadget again and again.
So like a wellhead.
Yes.
Hmm.
So that's coming in the next release, so that you can use those gadgets in 3.17. It's coming out. I hope that they don't affect the mining efficiency to force us to use the gadgets. I hope they just make it available for those who are better suited to use them.
Hmm.
Because if I have to put a gadget on every rock that I break, I'm not gonna be
It's going to
happy.
get very old quick. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah. So mining is the play loop that they appear to be most focused on, with bringing in bounty hunting and space combat. They recently made some development changes. They added some developers who were huge in the flight sims and dogfighting. There's a guy called Yogi Platt, and he is very much the enthusiast when it comes to combat, space combat. And you can tell whenever his work started getting implemented into the source tree, um, because it became like, hey, we're going to work on this. We're going to work on the flight model. We're going to make the flight model a little more balanced, a little more realistic. We're going to work on this. We're going to add capacitors so that you just can't squeeze the trigger and hold it down the whole time and shoot. Now you have to play that power game like you play in Elite. In Elite, like, oh, I've got my pips and weapons. I don't have as much. My engines aren't recharging as quick, so that I can get out of dodge faster. So, which is a good thing. You know, I mean, at the moment it's happening to you, you're kind of like, but it is a good thing.
Don't mess with my stuff, man. Game over. Game over.
I know, right? But so it's definitely steps in the right direction. I think that couldn't be all of it, right? Tell me I'm missing some quantanium somewhere. This was inert, or not inert, but not quantanium. Let's go. What are you? Nope. I think we are ready to harvest and go. Okay, so in the bottom right corner, you see where it says Laranite, Tungsten, and Quantanium. It's telling you how much percentage is in my cargo hold. You notice the Quantanium is red. In a little bit, you're going to see a timer pop up underneath there. And it's going to tell you that I need to, time before it goes inert or volatile. It usually has popped up by now. The server timers may be a little whack tonight. Would surprise me. There it goes. 14:31. Time until critical. So that means I've got to get this back to the station. And it's basically... that helps curb your greed. Because if it wasn't for those, everyone would be bringing in moles full of Quantanium. Because why not?
And then flooding the market too quickly.
Yeah. Well...
I like that, a mechanic to slow it down a little bit instead of just obvious nerfs.
Well, the market will self-adjust, actually. It doesn't do it in a huge swing, but it will self-adjust. If we go to we're running cargo runs, and I fly to Lathan or Bezdek on aerial, and I start buying titanium and laranite. The next time I go back, the price is going to be a little higher. Somebody comes in behind me or comes in ahead of me, and they buy it out. I may have to wait for the tick. I may have to wait for that local store to replenish before I can buy more. And if you start making these regular runs, getting this laranite here, flying for a few minutes, dropping it off at this place and selling it, the place that you're selling it to is going to start offering you less money for it. Their demand is going to be lower. So the market is trying to self-balance. There's something they're working on called Quanta, which is, I guess one way to explain it would be the financial side of the BGS in Elite Dangerous. In Elite Dangerous, you got the background game simulation. This happens and this happens and this happens. In Star Citizen, they're calling that Quanta, but it's a lot more involved than just financial. It can be I think the example that Tony Z gave during his talk about it was a bunch of miners go to Gila and start mining materials there. Word gets out that's a good place to go mining. A bunch of miners roll up and they're doing their thing. And pirates start showing up. Because there's miners there and they want to start ransoming them and you getting money and stuff like that. So now you got a bunch of miners, a surge in mining. Now you get more pirates coming in. The pirates come in. Bounty hunting missions escalate there. Ships get injured. They need repairs. The cost of repairs goes up. The cost of fuel goes up. Things like that. Bounties increase. You may get more police action in the area. So, I mean, it's becoming pretty involved. I mean, it's getting to the point where I don't even feel comfortable calling this a game anymore. I actually feel more comfortable calling it a simulation. It's getting pretty deep.
One thing I can say, watching you jump right now, the other game is how I'll word it to make sure we don't have any infringement issues.
Oh,
Does it does. I think it does a better job of graphical design. I know that Star Citizen is in alpha, but as far as the jumps go, I think it's prettier to watch it jump in Elite.
They probably have fewer things to code to get perfect. Like Star Citizen has got lots of things being in its alpha mode. So
yeah,
I imagine that will be polishing as they would
Star
need it.
Citizen was on a 5-year hold. They didn't develop the game for 5 years of its lifespan because of what do you want to call it? Legal.
The Crytude suit. The Crytude
Yeah,
suit. Yeah.
Quantum travel engaged.
So they couldn't even develop the game for 5 years that it's been out of what? I think it's been out for 10 years total.
Yeah, 10 years. So I'm going to increase my thruster speed right here. As long as I hit that Armistice Zone wall doing around 400 meters, I will coast to a stop in just about the right spot. Each ship has its own flight characteristics. I know from flying this ship, if I hit that Armistice wall at 400 and back off the throttle, I usually come to a stop or slow just about the right spot for that landing pad we're coming up on. Now, you're typically supposed to request a landing, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to abuse a game mechanic.
75%.
I'm going to land without requesting a landing, which they don't like, and they impound my ship in 45 seconds. Again, assuming the server timers are correct. And
But it gets your load into the place quicker, right?
Absolutely, it gets my ship stored faster, so I don't have to worry about it going inert or self-destructing. So I'm going to abuse that mechanic. But there's a downside to that. They charge me $15,000 for an impound fee. I call it the valet parking fee. Lower landing.
I'm
Look at this
deploying
fancy
the
guy
landing
over here.
Modules for docking.
Oh yeah, speaking of using voice attack, I was told that you get like 20 in the free version. You get 20 commands.
That's correct.
What do you think about possibly Friday night doing a tutorial and helping someone set theirs up?
No problem.
They sell it on Steam, so I think it's about $20.
An active flight bay.
Yep.
Vacate the vicinity.
Not to say anything bad about Steam, but what I would recommend is don't buy it through Steam. Buy it directly through voice attack.
Well, you might get a better deal. That's cool.
Well,
And you don't have to have Steam running every time you want to use voice attack.
For your safety,
Oh.
please vacate the area.
Yeah, because
Thank you for your cooperation.
Star Citizen's pretty demanding game. I don't know that I would want to have Steam open and running at the same time I'm playing Star Citizen.
You'll be back. Initiating ship storage
So-
procedure.
It's hilarious. In this game, you're blocking and they don't shoot you down, but in Elite, you just get in the cow catcher
There you go. There
You're
we go.
screwed.
They just impounded my ship. So now they want to charge me $15,000 for impound fee, valet parking, Anvil or Argo Mo, right there. 15. It's $15,000 to pay the fine for 15 minutes. I'm going to tell them that they can just sort that out amongst themselves while I run over to the refinery and start my processing. So I'm
So
not
wait, so it's
hilarious.
15,000 or 15 minutes? Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So while you're doing that, hold my beer. I'll be back.
Yeah. Hey, actually, you mind sticking that in the fridge for me so it stays cold?
Yeah, I gotta have them cold. Order me a pizza too. I got something to do with this hot load
Yeah.
quantanium.
Yeah, hot rock.
I will say the interior of the ships in Star Citizen look amazing, and I wish they would do that in Elite. I know they're
Yeah,
bringing
not
it
gonna
to the
happen.
carriers in Elite, but yeah.
Yeah, he stated they weren't going to do ship interiors, which I'll be honest with you, not to throw any shade there, because I wasn't around in the early days of Elite, but based on what I've read, it sounds like he's kind of going back on a previous promise to do ship interiors.
Like at this point, he probably feels like he's just gonna get called out for copying Star Citizen.
Well,
You
it's
mean the elevators
competition.
of the space stations in Elite? They look absolutely nothing at all like the elevators in Star Citizen. Come on.
Yeah.
Right.
I just don't want them so squeaky clean. You gotta have a little bit of oil
They do.
and
They do.
gunk and all that, you know.
I should spawn the reclaimer and show you that. That one's kind of scary. It's got this whole aliens vibe to it, and there's an area where everyone says it's rust, but it looks a lot like blood to me. An area crew member to be
And
seen.
then the ship, you know, it's named the Nostromo or something, right?
Yeah. So here you're seeing the refinery console. I roll up here and I pick my ship on the left. I say set up a work order. This is telling me how much is in the ship. 55 SCU, or 5,571 units. And I'm going to pick the stuff that I want to process. In this case, I want to pay money to process the Laranite. I'm going to pay a little bit of money to process the Boraes and the money to Quantanium, because these are the higher value ones. The Quartz, 2 credits a unit, not interested. The Tungsten, a credit a unit, pass. So now that I've told it what units, which materials I want to process, I have to tell it which method to use. So if I pick Dynex Solvenation, and I say get a quote, you're going to see that they'll charge me 6,887 credits, or dollars. It'll take 2 days and 12 hours to process it, and I'll get 95% return. Out of the 1694 units of Laranite, they're going to yield 1609. So I'm not going to lose that much. 95% yield, cheap, slow as fuck to process. Another choice, staying in the 95% bracket, is Ferron Exchange. I'm actually going to bring up a mining chart on the screen so you can see what I'm looking at here. This mining chart shows you the elements on the left. You notice that some of them are green and some are yellow, some are orange and some are gray. Greens are the ones you want to mine. Quantanium being the top guy you want to mine. The middle part here tells you the refinery stations and whether they have a plus or a negative for that material when they refine it. The place where we are, Crew L1, Beautiful Dream, they have a +3 when they refine Quantanium, so 3% extra yield. If I'd taken it to her L1, it would have been -6%. So I'm in a good place to mine Quantanium or refine it. On the far right side, you see the refining methods, how much their yield bracket is, what their cost bracket is, and how their speed bracket. So the bottom 3 you see are the 95%ers. Those are the ones I generally pick, all things being equal. Dynex, you already showed you, 95% yield. It's cheap as shit, but it takes days. Pyro, 95% yield. Spindy as fuck, but fairly fast. Ferron Exchange, same yield. Moderate cost, slow speed. So here's an example of Ferron Exchange. Twice as much, but a third of the time. So the Dynex was 7,000. The Ferron Exchange, 13,000, but done in 20 hours.
Is that 20 hours real life or 20 hours game
Real time.
life?
Real time. The game clock runs in real time. So if you go to
Okay.
jail, if you do something and you have to go to jail, and it says 2 hours and 45 minutes, and you went to jail at noon, you'll be out of jail at 2:45. All right. So fair on exchange. I'm picking the items I had to pick. There's a timer on these consoles, and so this is the one I'm going to choose tonight because I don't want to wait 2.5 days to get my stuff. So I'm going to pick this, but I'm just going to show you a demonstration of the other one. The other one on that chart is Pyro, which is just a short way of saying pyrometric pyro. It's easier to say that.
English.
Yeah, English is hard. So that one's 41,000 to process it, but 10 hours. If I was in a time crunch and I knew I wasn't going to be able to do my refinery order, or I was worried that there may be a patch that drops in 12 hours and I would lose my refinery order, that's the one I would pick. That's not the case here, so I'm going to go with Farron. Get my quote. We're good. Confirm. And confirm. Now the refinery is chooching. And you can see it processing here. You have the option of interrupting that and storing it in the ship. You can say, hey, stop and collect it right now, and you only get what's processed. This is a refinery order that I put in days ago, and you can see it's ready to go. And that yielded 40 SCU, 4,018 units at $80 or 80 credits a unit. You can do the math until it's about 320,000. So what happens when you do these refineries, they charge you right now to do the refinery. You pay in advance for the refinery. So it came out of my available funds. In 20 hours, I could come back here, load up both of these loads on a ship, fly that ship somewhere, and sell it somewhere. So that part of it's more fully fleshed out. But that's mining in Star Citizen. Similar in some ways. There's no mini games. You don't have to do the whole little subsurface missile thing.
What do you mean? There's no many games? You're playing spreadsheet simulator right now.
Yeah, right? But you don't have to do the little, oh, I didn't release the trigger at just the right time. I didn't click the mouse at just the right time.
Yeah, and speaking of that, that's something else I'm going to need you to walk me through on how to use that.
Okay. No worries.
What?
Obviously not right now.
Yeah.
And probably not tonight, but at some point, yes, please.
Definitely. I'm happy to help you. So, I still have a timer going for my ship being impounded. If I was in a hurry to go back out there, I would pay the fee, grab the ship, and go back out there and do it. But I'm pretty sure it's just us in here right now, and I'm going to take a moment and show you how you can set up voice attack.
Oh.
The
You're going to need to wait. Wait a minute. I was not ready.
Whoa! Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna walk over here and slide over here. Yeah, you're seeing this, right?
Yeah, yeah.
The only thing missing is the pea suit, buddy. Hi, are you feeling okay? You don't look so good. You don't look good at all.
She had some really bad mushrooms.
Apparently, she was like tripping hard.
This
do it
is
again?
definitely not an alpha. What are you talking about?
What are you talking? This is a fully ready product here, buddy.
Fucking.
Yeah, we're talking
It's a full-price
cyberpunk
game.
level here.
Hey,
Now she's
Cyberpunk
like,
had a big update. What are you talking about?
yeah, I haven't played it since they did the update. Okay, so no more Exorcist style head spinny, but that's disappointing.
She was a minion of Cthulhu, that's what it was.
Ah, gotcha. The master speaks. So we're gonna get DNA textures, and we'll just check our timer while we're here. Argo mole impounded, 5 more minutes. So I'm a cheap bastard. I don't want to pay them 5. No pays. Maybe we'll go eat a burrito instead. Let's eat a burrito. Okay, so we need to take our helmet off.
I didn't think the health mechanic was in the game yet.
It is.
Oh, okay.
Health and medical and food are in. So we're going to take our helmet off so we can eat, because you can't eat through my helmet. And we will grab a burrito. What kind do we want? Do we want
I want the one with the free hat.
right? Let's do citrus beef. Okay. There's my burrito. And we will come over here and we will eat our burrito. Look at that pig boy. He just sucked that right down, didn't he? Let's have a Mountain Dew while we're at it.
This is just like a hyper-realistic Sims game.
Mm-hmm. Alright, watch him break his wrist as he drinks this. See how his hand just kind of pierced the can? Yeah, I'm loving this, right? Usually he'll break his wrist as he drinks it. Crunch!
Oh,
Ouch!
that drink. Whoa, oh, whoa, whoa.
Nummy num nums. Mm-mm.
I hate to see how he puts a suppository.
Right? Maybe we should go visit the medic here and get this fixed.
All right.
We're gonna go here and visit Nurse Ratchet. Hey, Nurse Ratchet.
Too.
I need some help. Kind of broke my wrist drinking my Mountain Dew. Room 3. Alright, thanks, Nurse Ratchet. So room 3 should be right here. No cute nurse, disappointed. So we'll lay down in the bed. And it will fix our head. Look on the left, you'll see the health slowly go up to 100% or 99%. If we had any real injuries, we could click this and it would tell you you had an injury and you could click it and fix it. We don't actually have any injuries. But there we are. Nurse Ratchet fixed us right on up. It tell you that they have a sense of humor here. The backers of the game, the ones who follow it on Star Citizen Live and Inside Star Citizen, are going to know who Lando is. Disco Lando. That's Jared Huckabee. He still is a streamer, but he's been kind of like the voice and the face of Star Citizen on media and video productions and things like that. So that's the reference for Disco Lando or Disco Fever. The developers threw in a little homage to him, Lando Fever Syrup. It's pretty bad when your coworkers troll you in the game.
Alright, I got voice attack downloaded and I'm looking at a blank screen.
Groovy. Okay, so you have the trial version, which means you have 20 commands.
Yep.
Alright, so let's go over here.
Would you like me to share my screen?
Nope. I'm going to do it
Okay.
right here. I'm going to share mine with you. There we go. So, okay. So now let's bring up voice attack. And we're going to work on this together.
Okay.
We're going to create a brand new profile. Oops, cancel. Create new profile. We're going to call it Cheap Ass. Alright, there we go. So now we're going to add a command. And one of the easiest ways to do it is just to say it. So I'm going to add one. We're going to call it landing gear.
Oh, wait. Did I miss a
Landing
step
gear.
on... Did I miss a step on where you create a new...
Well, you can in the free version. I have to create a new profile so that I can be in the same position you're in with nothing.
Right, but do I need to get rid of all the other commands that it has?
I would.
Is it HCS voice attack or just voice attack?
It's voice attack. HCS is a little plug-in module for it and voice packs that you purchase separately. So let me know when you get them all deleted.
Alright, I got a blank screen.
Cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say the command, and then I'm going to use a mechanic built into the game. So I'm going to say, raise landing gear. Raise landing gear. Notice how it says unrecognized raise landing gear?
Full screen, please. Yep.
Double click that.
Raise landing gear. Okay.
When you double click it, it opens up the add a new command with the word raise landing gear in there, right?
Yep.
Okay. So now we're going to say the hard work's already done for us. Now we're going to click key press. You're going to get the little blah 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 blah. I don't need to see it, so I'm going to close it out.
Yep. I already closed that.
Cool. The default landing gear button in Elite Dangerous is L, so I'm going to push L. And that should basically make L light up here on the far right side of that dialog box. The default is push and hold down for 0.1 seconds, which is more than enough time. We're going to hit OK there. And you notice that inside the box, the command box, it says, press L key and hold for 0.1 seconds and release.
Yep.
Cool. So now we're going to put the description. Raises landing gear. And that would suggest a category. So we're going to say ship controls. So now if I hit OK, I have a new command. And we're going to test it. I'm going to hit apply. Done. Raise landing gear. Notice how it went green.
Yeah. I'm in
I know.
game, so I want to make
I
sure
know.
if I do this that I'm not
That's
going
fine.
to mess something up.
You're fine. You're fine. If you all tab out,
Raise
you should be
landing
fine.
gear.
There you go.
Yep.
Green.
It's green.
Why don't we improve this and give this one command 2 functions? Because
Okay.
we're cheap bastards, and why make 2 when we can make 1 work for both, right?
Yeah.
Double click it.
Double click what?
Raise landing gear. See in the log it says raise landing gear
Yeah.
in green?
Yeah. I'm making sure.
Yep, you're good. You're good. Double click it. So now when this comes up, the text is highlighted for the command, raise landing gear. I want you to click your mouse in there and go all the way over to the far left side of that text in input box.
Okay.
Add a left square bracket. So it should be left
Okay.
square bracket raise. After the word raise, we're going to put a semicolon. That's the dot in the comma right underneath it.
I took typewriting class in high school or in
Gotcha.
junior high.
But I'm
yeah.
also saying it for the other 7 people in here. Okay. So now you
Okay.
have open square bracket, raise, and a semicolon. Now we're going to put the word lower. And we're going to add the closing square bracket. So now we have open square bracket, raise, semicolon, lower, closing square bracket, a space, landing, space, gear. What that does is this little command in here, this little syntax blog right in here, the square bracket tells voice attack, if I say the word raise or lower and follow it with the words landing gear, use this command. So now this command's pulling double duty. It should trigger with the words raise or lower followed by landing gear. We're going to change raises on the bottom here to raises or lowers landing gear. Because now it's going to do both. We're going to hit OK, apply, done. And now we're going to test it with both.
Raise landing gear. Lower landing gear. Yep, I got green lights on both.
Cool. What if you wanted to make that say toggle landing gear? What do you think you would do to make that say toggle?
Just add toggle into that syntax.
Absolutely, a semicolon and toggle. So now you know how to do multiple words as part of a trigger. So the important takeaway from that is multiple words can be used as long as they're in brackets. Brackets tells voice attack any one of these in this section. No matter what you say, raise or lower, you have to follow it with landing gear. So you can use the brackets. Be wary of this because it has to, whenever you say a word, it has to try and guess. Ooh, is this what she means? So now what I would recommend is we're going to add something cool right underneath this. Because at this point, we're not going to know whether it hurt us or not until we wait for the game to respond. I know the game responds, but I want to show you something cool to do in case you decide you want to use this same profile for Star Citizen or something else.
Sure.
Right in here, we're going to go under Other.
Okay.
We're going to go to Sounds.
Okay.
Say something with text-to-speech.
Okay.
I prefer a feminine voice, so I have Zira picked as the voice right here. You could pick David if you prefer a male voice.
No, female's fine.
Yeah, most people respond better to a female voice. And in here, we're going to say... actuating landing gear now. So if we put the words actuating or whatever you want to say, try to keep it neutral because you're going to be using it for raising and lowering. So, and if you want to preview that, you can select the text and go preview.
Actuating landing gear now.
And she'll say it. Or if you wanted her to say different things, you say landing gear is now. The same way that you use the semicolon to differentiate options, use the same thing in text-to-speech. So in my case, I've got actuating landing gear now, semicolon, landing gear is actuating now. So it should mix it up a little bit. So we're going to preview it.
Landing gear is actuating now. Actuating landing gear now.
So now every time the command runs, you got a 50-50 chance of hearing either variant.
Ah.
So that's your DIY voice attack and also your own HCS of sorts. HCS is a lot more complex than just that, but this will get us started. So that's how we do the landing gear one. Okay. So what's another command that we do a lot of in Elite Dangerous and Star Citizen that is just tedious and my God, it'd be so cool if we could just say it and it happened. What do you want to add?
Docking.
Request docking.
Request docking.
Okay, so that's going to be a complex one. So what we're going to do, I'm going to add a new command, and I'm going to say request docking. And that's going to be a combination of key presses, isn't it?
Yes.
So it's going to be key press. First, you're going to hit number 1.
Hang on. Slow down.
I got you. I got you. It's all good.
So, do I need to say? I'm making sure I get the steps right. Do I need to say it, then double click it, or can I just click add new command?
Either one.
Okay. I want to make sure I was on the.
You're right. You're doing great. You're doing great. I used to be a teacher, so what I'm trying to subtly do is educate you with multiple ways of doing the same thing. So
Yep.
like,
And I understand that.
Gotcha. Okay. So I'm going from memory here because I'm not in Elite Dangerous, but I remember I have to hit number 1. And then I need to... Let's get rid of this annoying box. I need to hit the E key a couple of times, so we're going to go E key. And then I need to hit E key again. So hitting number 1 is going to bring it up to the navigation tab. Hitting E once, go to transactions. Hitting E again should take us down to the contacts. And then we're going to need to hit the space bar. And then we're going to need to hit the space bar again. So, when we say request docking, it's going to push number 1. It's going to assume that the cursor hasn't been moved somewhere else and it's sitting over the navigation tab. It'll press E once, which should get it over to transactions. It'll hit E again, which should get it over to your contacts pane. It's going to hit the space bar, because it's usually top 1, which is going to highlight that one. And then it's going to hit the space bar again to request docking. So this command is assuming a lot of things, but it should work. There we are, and we're going to call this ship controls. Let's be real, it's Elite Dangerous Horizons, everything is a ship control. Alright. So that should work. That should be number 1, E, space, space. If we want, we can add pauses in there. So right after here, we can click on this one, and we can say pause, add pause, 0.5 seconds. After this one, a pause, 0.5 seconds. After this one, same deal. So that gives the game a chance to catch up to us. So press 1, wait 0.05 seconds, push E, wait, push E, wait, push space, wait, press space. And that should make it a little more intuitive. If you use this command and it doesn't function the way that you want it to, then thanks, Ron, for having my back in chat. I appreciate that. Then you could just increase this pause from 0.05 seconds. So you could increase this to say like 0.3 seconds if you needed to.
Sure.
But that should be a rudimentary request docking. It's going to assume that you're in the default position. If you're not, it's going to mess up. But so will HCS. HCS doesn't have the capability of knowing exactly where your cursor is. So like Ron can tell you, if you manipulated your number 1 panel and you say request docking, it'll fuck up.
Request docking. All right. So that's okay. That's the basics of how you do it.
Yes. Now, what I usually do in order to test this without being in the game and risking, exiting a station when I don't want to, is I'll bring up Notepad. And I will run Notepad in the corner. Click in that window and say the command. Request docking. 1
Request docking.
So now I know all the keystrokes are there. E1 EE space space. So that's 2 commands. Now
Raise landing gear.
there you go.
Oh, wrong window. Raise landing gear. Okay, I have. I messed up somewhere.
Okay, what's going on?
So I on the landing gear.
Mhm.
Hang on, I need to modify this first. On the landing gear, I did the multiple wordings.
Yep.
But I apparently did them wrong because she's saying both of them. She's not. Oh, you quotated and then put or.
Well, yeah. Whenever you go to the sound statement, there's a semicolon after now, and then a space, and then the next word. So you got to put the semicolon after now. That tells voice attack that these are options.
Got it. That's what I missed. I put a comma instead of a semicolon.
A comma's good
Now
for pauses. So you could
now-
so you could just put a comma in there if you wanted to delay it just a little bit between words.
Raise landing gear. She still said them both. What
Okay.
did I do wrong?
Okay, so something with text to speech. I wish I could zoom in on this and make it bigger, but after the word now, I've got the dot and the colon underneath it, so semicolon. I'm going to test this. I'm going to test
Actuating landing gear now. Actuating landing gear now.
Oh, I didn't apply.
There you go.
Actuating
That's what I
landing gear
forgot.
now.
Because I changed it, I didn't apply it.
Okay, it's all good.
Raise landing gear. Okay, now it just says 1.
Yay, there you go. Now, there are all kinds of advanced things you can do with this. You can use variables, you can manipulate variables, all kinds of cool, complicated stuff. But this is what you would use in order to make something that's going to provide multiple functions and multiple responses. So, landing gear is something you do a lot of. Requesting docking is something you do a lot of. You could say something like deploy hardpoints, as long as you remember what button you're using for your hardpoints. That would be a good one to set up. Why don't we do hardpoints together? And what do you think you would do to do hardpoints?
As a command?
Mm-hmm. Walk me through it. Assume I'm a moron and I've never done this and I haven't even heard a voice attack. What would I do?
Can I back? I want to back up.
Yeah, back out. Do it. Follow along.
No, I'm not that far. I'm trying to remember. Okay, click OK here. Where did we put in?
Do you have voice attack, or do you have the trial of voice attack?
Trial.
I'm starting out with the trial. I'm not saying that I won't buy it, but this is one way to know if I'm going to actually use it or if it's not something I'm going to use.
Okay. Reason I asked is if you're in between things, try the trial. If you like it, buy voice attack. And in the elite resources, I just posted a free voice attack profile for Elite Dangerous that's got like 300 and something commands in it.
Yeah. Thank you, but not yet. I may use it in the future, but like I said, like I just said, I wanted to test it out, see if I like it. If I like it and want more commands, I will definitely be buying it.
Now here's the thing. Go ahead.
Here's where I'm getting hung up. So on the landing gear command, where did we put in for her to respond with a response?
I'm going to show you. We're going to go back into our landing gear one. Where is our landing gear? We're going to edit landing gear. Okay, so right over here, there's the other sound. Say something with text to speech.
Got it. That's where it was. Okay.
So if you want to add that to your docking one, then that's what you do.
Yes, that is what I was trying to do.
So I would add something like requesting now. Because you can use this for getting into the station or getting out of the station. Well, actually, no, you can't, because when you leave the station, you just use the space bar. That's right.
No, you do. You press down twice and then use the space bar.
So there's another command you could do right there. You can say, request launch, or now that you know how to use your brackets and put multiple choices in there, then you can really tweak this. Ron, thanks for posting that in there too, by the way, the free voice attack profile for Elite.
All right.
He takes care of us.
He does. He does a really good job.
He's awesome.
Hard points. What would I
deploy hard points? Okay. Well, why don't we do it together? Why don't we do it together? So we're going to add a new command, right?
Hard points.
Yep. So you could say deploy or retract hard points. So I need to put the bracket in there. Deploy, semicolon, retract, close a bracket, hard points. And then whatever your key press button for hard points is, I want to say it's in, right?
You.
It's
you.
Okay, so you.
So, but you could keep it simple and just keep it as hard points if you wanted to just...
Yep, you could.
Hard points?
Yep, either way.
Oh, no, I was saying it to bring it, to edit it.
I understand.
Key press is you. Other? Oh, sorry, I'm supposed to walk you through this.
It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. That was meant as a way to test and gauge your understanding and your, whether I have been effective in conveying what we need to convey. And at this point, we're at the reinforcement stage. That's what we're doing here. We're reinforcing.
Yeah.
And I like Ron's suggestion. Oh shit, buckle up. So we're gonna take that one. We're gonna take that one, Ron. That's a nice one. We're gonna use that. We're gonna go to other. We're gonna go to sound. Say something with text to speech. We're gonna go over here to his response and copy that, because we cannot go wrong using something that awesome. And I don't remember whether she will swear or not.
Oh shit, buckle up.
Let's add a pause in there so she doesn't just say, oh shit, buckle up. Let's go comma, space, comma. That should give her a little bit of a pause.
Yep.
Oh shit, buckle up.
There we go. Thanks, Ron. So now when you hit the U key, oh shit,
Okay.
buckle up.
So let's say that I set mine to hard points.
Mhm.
Say that I change it to deploy hard points or retract hard points
Mhm.
underneath the same command, same
Mhm.
voice command.
Yeah.
Can I get her to identify if we're deploying which phrase to say?
Yes, you would have to declare a variable, and the first time that you use it, it would set that variable as a 0 or 1, and then each time that you run that command, it would check the variable contents and say, if this variable contains a 1, say this. If this variable contains a 0, say this. But that's assuming that you don't just trigger it. I mean, that's assuming that you're always using the voice command. But yeah, you could definitely do that. You could edit that command to include a variable. Say, hey, declare a variable, set it to this point. And the next time it runs, it would check the variable first and then pick the appropriate word.
Well,
There's a lot more
technically, with Elite, it can get the information for the state of the landing gear or the hard points from the game. But I don't know how to do that.
You need a special plugin. EDDI uses that plugin. It is available, but I don't remember where, and it's supposed to poll the state, and you can reference a string and an array, and it will tell you. That's beyond what I can help you with. My knowledge and familiarity with arrays is 20 years old and rusty. Would be an understatement. I want to say it's like variable name, square bracket, array, section name, closing square bracket, but I'm guessing it's been 30 years.
Launch. I'm figuring this out.
Yes, you are. I'm proud of you.
Key press is... Oh, no. Why? The only thing I don't like is the... Oh. So how do you use the down arrows?
You have to define them in there. Whenever you create your key press, you just tap that key on your keyboard and it should remember it.
But it's not identifying it. That's my issue.
Okay.
It's saying none. Down arrow found it. Okay. Key press.
Yeah, there you go. That should work.
Down arrow. Okay.
I can really tell you used to be a teacher.
I used to teach for an international fruit company. That's the way we're going to refer to them on stream, as a fruit company.
Okay. International.
International
People how to harvest cocoa beans.
It's John. It's like Android, but it's not.
It's pineapple.
Yeah, absolutely. Except minus the
Okay.
pine.
Okay.
I miss
Would
it.
make the apple.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brain fart. Goodness gracious, I didn't get
I didn't
that.
say it, you did, so we're all good. Okay.
I didn't get that after I said it, and then I'm like,
I just don't want to give them any kind of free advertisement, that's all. So yeah, basically 5 years? Yeah, 5 years. Alright, so there we go. We know how to make a command. We know how to make a command accept multiple options. We know how to make a command say something and say multiple options. So what we're going to do is I'm going to demonstrate something here. We're going to go to Funny Stuff.
Funny Stuff profile is now active.
And you don't have the stream on, but you can infer what would happen if I said, hey, Ron.
Hang on a second. I'm going to be about 10 seconds behind because I'm going to unmute your stream and listen to your, or unmute Discord, or mute Discord and unmute your stream.
Okay.
So give me just a minute.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Ron.
Good to see you, Ron. How are your
Hey.
cats?
Hey, Cycles.
Us space girls have to stick together.
Hey, Cycles.
How are you, girl?
Hey, Rush.
Obviously this human has excellent taste in music.
Hey.
Hey, Johnny.
There was this robot in the 80s called Johnny 5, very cool. You know him by chance?
There you go. So that's the way the channel greeting works for the regulars. It's just a quick little down and dirty Zira profile. There are greeting. Yep, there are greetings in there. We have one for Claire Bear. Let me show you Claire's. Hey, Claire.
Claire Bear, show me some love.
Hey, Claire.
Do we feed, or not feed, the bear? I can't remember.
There you go. So, there you go. Do you? You're probably popping in Discord now any second. Do you have anything else we need to cover on this? Do you wanna dig a little deeper, or do you think you're good to go on this?
I think I'm pretty good to go on this.
Okay.
I went ahead. I've set up landing gear, hard points, launch, request docking. I know that I'll have more come up
Mm-hmm.
that I find. Hey, that'd be really useful. I'll probably add cargo scoop
Mm-hmm.
as another command, or add it to the hard points for
Mm-hmm.
when it deploys hard points to deploy the cargo scoop as well. Because I catch myself a lot of times, I'll get my mining lasers out and start mining and start sending limpets, and then it won't. It'll be telling me that it can't do anything because I forgot to open the cargo scoop.
Yeah, cargo scoop's a good one to do. And you can rinse and repeat the same command you use for landing gear for cargo scoop, just changing it so you can say it like deploy or retract or toggle. Thanks,
Well,
Johnny.
I was going.
Mhm.
I set it up as open close cargo.
Yeah.
I didn't even say scoop. I just said open cargo, close cargo.
Hard points. So what I was thinking about doing was adding the command within the hard points, so that whenever you open and deploy or retract your hard points, it opens and closes your cargo hatch at the same time.
Oh, okay. Okay. How do you think we would do that?
Well, like I'm looking at the edit command now, and after the say, I would have it use the home key.
Mm-hmm.
So go in, tell it.
Mm-hmm.
I have to scroll down and find the home key first. Home. Press OK. Press OK.
Mm-hmm.
Apply. Open Notepad back up so I can verify that it's using the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Hard points. Oh, wait. Hard points. It did not do... Oh, it did do the home key because it went back to the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I did set it up right.
Now, if you run into trouble in the game that it doesn't work, change your times. So, like right in here, push U for 0.1 seconds. You may have to make that say like push U for 0.3 seconds. I know in Star Citizen, sometimes I have to make those numbers like 0.33 or 0.34. It just depends, because sometimes the game takes a little longer to catch and interpret key presses. So it can vary. I mean, if you run into trouble and it doesn't work, and you're like, I know this is working, Notepad tells me it's working, change your times. You may have to add a pause in there too.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, something else too to point out is there is a wonderful support group for voice attack There it is. Voice attack user form. If you click on the little voice attack symbol in the top left corner of the dialog box, there's a user forum in there, and they are extremely helpful there.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I was writing a command before that would remember where my ship was. So now in Star Citizen we have a little marker on the HUD that says, "Hey, Nubnuts, your ship is over here on Hangar 3." We didn't have that before.
Right.
So thanks for the follow, Silo. Appreciate it, Silo. So what would happen is that you would spawn your ship from the ASOP terminal, and you'd be like, "Oh man, where was my ship?" And when you're streaming, your focus isn't always on what you're doing. Your focus is on trying to monitor the chat, trying to keep it entertaining. So I would always forget where my ship was. So I wrote a command to do that. And what it would do is I would spawn my ship and I'd say, "The ship is on pad 3." And it would remember that. And when I went to the elevator and I went, "Crap, where's my ship?" And I'd say, "Where's the ship?" And it would say, "The ship is on pad 3." So that needed variables. And the support group here guided me through creating those with variables. Silo, I do appreciate the follow very, very much. I know the stream title says Star Citizen, and we were playing Star Citizen, but one of our viewers needed a little bit of help with voice attack, and being an AMA channel, we definitely stop and help people out when they need it. You'll definitely see more voice attack. You'll definitely see more Star Citizen here. Speaking of which, I need to check my ship and make sure that it is no longer being impounded for using the valet parking fee. So let's go back in here. And we will go back into the verse and check our status. See, what do you think, Miss? You feel like you're in a better position to code them now, or?
Yeah, I mean, it'll take some practice. It's been a while. I don't use I'm an admin for a Rust server, and we don't use the syntax in that form. So it's just getting used to this, using the proper syntax.
Gotcha. My next project for me is going to be getting a bot that can interact with my chat in a way that I like, and then programming voice attack so that I can use that to interact with my chat in a way that I like. I would be very much like it that whenever I used one of my greetings and said, "Hey, Cycles," she would say that for you, and then in the chat it would put something in there special.
Right.
You know, or having it where I just want that level of interaction, and that's going to be some work. That's going to be an investment of time that I don't have right now that I can make. There we go. But that's
Launch.
the goal.
Yes, it works.
There you go. So now you just got to think about what your responses are going to be. Make them meaningful for you.
Right. I don't want to give the command because I'm inside of a station right now, but the one that we use to mine with.
Gotcha. Well, what you can do is it Shift F2 or Alt F2? Maybe it's Control F2. One of the commands you can actually dictate a button. You can go into voice attack right here, and you can dictate the button that says, "Hey, don't listen." So you go into your wrench. And there's a hotkey, left Alt and F2. That's the default. So you can toggle that to whatever you want.
Left Alt and what button?
F2, Foxtrot 2.
Gotcha.
So technically, that should tell her to stop listening. So now she's listening. Now she's not. So, like, you get a situation like when I'm helping somebody, if I want to issue that command but I don't want voice attack to do it, it's Alt F2. And what I need to do is I need to work out one of my viewers sent me a really, really nice Corsair keyboard. It's an X95 Platinum, so it's got like super great keys and 6 little macro keys on the far left side, and
Yeah, I've got 9 macro keys total
Mhm.
on the left and top side of my G910.
Gotcha. So what I need to do is I need to take a moment and set it up where I can just push one button. Hey, Jack, how are you doing, buddy? It's good to see you. I need to set up a way that I can hit a button on my keyboard and it will mute Discord and voice attack and I can just talk to the stream. So, or hit a button and it will just mute Discord or just mute voice attack. I need to get that going. Jack, how are you doing, buddy? I hope you're doing well. Hope Crumpet's well and Pyrite's well. Always happy to see you in here.
Closed cargo. Oh, that's so cute.
There you go. I am so proud of you guys and girls. Oh my god, that is awesome. Please don't be
Well, you-
insulted or take it as being condescending. I'm just like, hell yeah, people are rocking this. I love that.
You are
And-
actually a really good teacher, so don't give all the credit to us.
Tired, sleepy,
So-
I am run through for the day. We are moving cargo. I was doing some mining, but I've been really, really tempted to do a cargo run because somebody wanted to see the caterpillar last time, if memory serves. So I
Yes,
might do a
I
cat
did.
run. Okay, we might do a cat run, a scrap from here to her L3, if memory
I
serves.
like the Caterpillar. That's a cool ship.
Jack likes the caterpillar too.
Talking about the commands,
Mm-hmm.
I'm as far as giving the commands, I'm more about just the basics. It's like
Mhm.
instead of saying raise or lower,
Yeah.
it's just landing gear.
Yeah, I got you. And you're less likely to accidentally say that too if you're having a conversation. There's something wrong with my landing gear. Voice attack's going to be like, no, she didn't say this, and it's not going to trigger.
That's true.
Yeah, but if you decide you're going to stream, you're going to have to kind of amend things so that your stream's like, the fuck is she talking about? You know.
Yeah.
Oh, we need to buy scrap first. Duh. Buy scrap before you sell scrap. Did you forget how this shit works there, Dippy Doo? Yup, I forgot how this shit works.
Fired.
I know, so fired. Oh my god, I am a disgrace to traders everywhere. I wonder if Exorcist Girl's still over here. Nope, Exorcist Girl's not here. Be honest.
It was
That was-
the food that was doing that.
It was
Now
not,
it's actually this guy.
yeah. It's just like the burritos. Shouldn't have eaten
Well,
that burrito.
she didn't know where the bathroom was.
She's looking around for the bathroom. Is it here? Is it here? Is it here? Is it here? Oh my god, I can't find a bathroom. Where's that bathroom?
Somebody had taco.
So she had to
Bell.
twist her head instead of her legs to keep it.
Yeah, right?
contained.
She didn't dare move. She didn't dare move.
She was looking at that power grid, going, "Where can I put that?"
Yeah.
I assume this would work, but I'm going to ask another question with the docking.
Okay.
Could you add that for the hotkey for zero throttle
For auto
before
dock.
or after that you give the command gave the command, so it would automatically
Yep.
drop you to zero throttle for auto.
Yep.
But that wouldn't work because not all my ships have advanced dockings on them.
Well, you could make it zero throttle and request docking, and if it's got auto dock, it's going to go ahead and fly into the station on autopilot. If it doesn't, then it'll sit there like, okay, now what?
Oh yeah, I'll just have to turn the speed back up at that point.
Correct. Remember to add your pause statement, because sometimes games don't like it when you just machine gun these commands in a row.
Right.
Usually,
It's also good
Go ahead.
pause for like in a sun when you don't want to run into the zone where you get trapped. So you get into it tells it
Mhm.
to stop. You could do it that way too. That's what HES does for me.
Yeah. I love the HCS profiles. I started making my role. I actually have a Star Citizen profile from 3.10.
request docking?
It would have to be heavily modified, though. There's been a lot of keybinds changes and stuff since then.
Oh,
I watched and see that it has like it's possessed because I'm starting to see the words that are not even being said, and it's like no, the other computer's not on, and I'm just watching the who's saying all this.
Well, it tries to
know.
guess what you're saying. So
No,
when you
it wasn't me. I'm silent too, and I'm watching it have these voices and do things. It's like really weird. I don't know if it was seen in the game.
is
I
it
missed
hearing
the-
you?
No,
Is it hearing the
I
stream?
wasn't saying it. That might be actually a possibility.
Yeah, I've had people who listen to me through speakers tell me that it was tripping their voice attack.
Okay.
Which I have to really fight the urge to troll them at that point. Because, you know, I mean, I try to be a nice guy, but at some point you're like, watch this.
Request docking.
I missed a keystroke.
Oop, so fired. Oh my god.
Yeah, I forgot the right arrow. The right arrow.
Mm-hmm. Jack has a kick-ass pink and white caterpillar. I trip Google Assistants all the time. Yeah. I've had people trip my Google Homes when I would play stuff through, like if I play Discord through. But yeah, I'm in the right place. It's been so long. I was like, where's the elevator? Had people trip them when I was teaching for the International Fruit Company. When they realized there was a Google Home in the place, of course they give me shit for it, and then they would start trying to trip it while I was teaching. Because it was video teaching, so I would hear them and they would hear me. Flight ready. Oh, she's not listening. Ready, ship for launch.
Activating now. 1 moment, please.
Open contacts.
Stand by for launch.
You are clear to launch.
Excellent. Then we shall launch. Alright.
4% from the new rank in Federation. Oof.
Cool.
So how much you loving that new PC?
Oh my god, it is nice.
Except for the overheating issue while playing Star Citizen.
Well, I don't think it's actually overheating. I think it was just, I think it was that CPIO. 'Cause I mean,
Yeah.
it's sitting at 53.8 degrees, and I'm in Star Citizen.
Docking.
Yeah, Jack, I'm on a new rig. One of my viewers sent me an item off my wish list. It was an Asus Z590P motherboard. And then I was talking to one of my co-workers, and he's like, "Oh, really? What are you're going to build your system?" I'm like, "I can't afford to build my system right now." And he's like, "Well, I got some parts." So he comes over to the house Saturday, bringing a bunch of boxes, and I cut the plastic off 3 of these boxes myself. So I don't know whether he bought the parts to use later and never did, or whether he went by Best Buy and bought some shit. So he shows up at my place with a Corsair all-in-one liquid cooler, 1,000 watt power supply, a case, a CPU, and some RAM. I had to buy a little bit more RAM to go with it, but yeah, it's a cherry system now. The only thing left is to upgrade the video card.
Speaking of that, you're gonna hate me for saying this, but there was a 3050 at Micro Center today. They just got them in stock. It was in it was an overclock or something like that edition, and they wanted $320 for it.
Oh, God damn it! I wish I had the money for that shit.
You and me both.
Bet he doesn't live close to a Micro Center either.
I would mail it to him in a heartbeat.
Yep. I am 8 hours from the nearest micro center. But yeah, at some point, yeah. The Twitch payout, I just got Twitch payout, but I promised Mrs. B we're going to do something for her with that. So that's not going to go in the bank. But yeah, we're definitely running a new system here, and she's doing pretty well. We're getting 28 to 30 frames a second at high quality 1080p in places that at that quality level setting I would be getting like 15, 20. It is, dude. It is spiffy. I'm very, very stoked about it, as obviously as you can tell. I spent some time in Elite, and I spent some time in Star Citizen. I lost 3 million with the cargo though, testing it out. So that's on me though. I mean, I never should have loaded 3 million with a Quantanium into a C2 and ran it on a system that I wasn't sure wasn't going to crash the desktop. So there were some memory timing issues, I think. So.
For something regarding the Star Trek, apparently it's been green lighted for another J.J. Abrams Kelvin timeline Star Trek movie.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I should have put that skin on here.
Those actors doing those characters. It was just like,
damn it! I don't have the skin on this cat. I am so fired.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I don't have the white
Their
skin.
skin's an arm and a leg, unlike.
Oh no, I got several for free. We got several for free during IAE. We got.
is that their anniversary?
Mm-hmm. Yep. We got a nice, pretty blue and white one. And then there's you can buy a white one or a blue one in the store, and then there's another one they gave us too. I'm trying to remember. But I've got like 2 in my hangar. I had to fly to Area 818 to apply them. I could try to land a caterpillar on the roof of the I/O tower and do it. That would be interesting. Let's go, baby.
So, talking about Elite real quick. Depending on what ship you're in, does that dictate what missions they'll give you?
I don't think so.
The only setback is certain missions will scan your cargo hold, and if it won't hold enough cargo to go in one run, it won't give you the mission.
Well, the reason I ask is when I was in my Diamondback, it was giving me lots and lots of carrier missions, but when I brought my Cobra out here, I only had like 5, where I would normally have like 10 to 15.
Your greeting's not playing, Fegan. What the hell? Hello, Fegan. Oh, I swear to God, that's programmed. It's good to see you, Fegan. I know, right? I programmed that in voice attack the other day. The same day I did Miss and Cycles and Care Bear.
And me.
And you.
I'm anxiously awaiting Fegan's Omni Throttle Adapter review.
Right? You have one, Fegan. I promise you there's one in voice attack. For whatever reason, Zira is just going, fuck you. I wrote it while I was at work yesterday. I believe it's something like, hello, Fegan, it's good to see you, or always nice to see you, or something like that. I'll have to pull that out and find out why she's not recognizing it. Open contacts.
Contacts.
Hopefully, it gives us one on this side.
Please proceed to assigned landing bay.
Supposedly the movie premieres December 22nd, 2023.
Hey, that doesn't happen here. We love you in here. In non-creepy ways. Lower landing gear.
Deploying gear.
Launch.
Request docking.
Landing gear down.
Dang it.
Launch.
What are you doing, Bootsy? Are you trying to drive, Boots? What is it with caterpillars and you, Boots? Every time I'm in a
Launch.
cat, you try to pilot. Stop!
Well, because it's a
You
cat.
seeing this crap?
caterpillar.
He's like bumping
Launch.
my throttle hand, you little asshole.
How do you add the pause in there that you were talking about?
You go.
Yeah, go into the little command box, and on the left side, there's a little row of buttons. One of them's like pause or options or extra.
Have a pleasant stay.
I should actually. You want to fly, Boots? Of course not.
She keeps hearing you say cat.
Hey, Bootsy, what are you doing, baby? He has crashed cats more times than I can count. Well, no, that's a gross overstatement. He's only crashed 2. He's only crashed 2 caterpillars. Unfortunately for me, one of them had larinite at the time. Come on, opens the door, opens the door.
Launch. Got it.
Request
Thank you.
docking.
Oh, this is so nice.
I know,
feel like-
right? You have the
Except
fancy
when you're
ship.
except when you're on the wrong menu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Request docking.
Did
Oh,
I
I
just
need
hear a
to add
cat
the
meow?
1 to the end.
Did I just hear a cat meow?
Sounded
No
like it.
way. I bumped the end when I came into landing here. Thankfully, the Caterpillar has parking sensors right here. Could be a squeaky chair. Yeah, good point. Could be a squeaky chair. Squeaky chair, squeaky chair.
Oh, that's bad.
What's bad?
Oh, I closed voice attack when I was only trying to minimize it.
Oops. You may have an option to set it where when you close it, it goes to the system tray.
It does.
There you go.
I already set it to it.
See? You gotta keep up with stuff there.
Yeah. I'm getting tired though. That's my problem.
It has been a long day. Yay, beautiful Glen. So, next release, if I remember correctly and heard correctly, changes to the medical stations of these ships. There'll be more variations, so they won't look the same for everyone. That'd be cool. I wonder-
Friendly's a really big section of the rep.
Yeah, it is.
Fucking goddamn motherfucker.
So supposedly today, the Apollo and the Ranger got moved to the U.S. Vehicle Content and Vehicle Experience Team schedule.
I am so excited. Oh.
So that means we're, what, 2 to 3 years away now?
Hopefully not. But
Haha, bitch.
you know the whole C is next December at this point. I mean, if you look at the release thing, it's gonna be fall or December.
The Ranger's the motorcycle that I gave up on a long time ago.
You don't need a motorcycle.
Launch.
You got a hoverboard.
But I mean, you never even hear anything about the Ranger anymore, you know? When's the last time you heard anything about the Ranger?
Only when we talk about wishing it was in. Not time I ever heard. Fegan, the Ranger is basically like Ron said, it's a motorcycle. It's a space motorcycle. Apollo's the medevac ship. Yep, absolutely. Apollo is the medevac ship. It's the space ambulance. A real space ambulance, not the Cuddy Red with the woo-woo lights that does tier 3 and tier 2 only. The Apollo should be a respawn locale if they keep the ability to do tier 1 medbeds in it, which is what they originally said they were going to do. Originally they said there was going to be 2 medical bays port and starboard of the ship, And I believe they said the default loadout was 3 Tier 3 beds. Although they called it Tier 1 at the time, they reversed the numbers. They said it was going to be 3 lower tier beds that were able to heal injuries and treat injuries. And then you could upgrade to Tier 2 beds or Tier 1 beds. Kind of like the module system's going to be in the Caterpillar and various other ships. So
what's the mad scientist ship for like aliens?
Good question. I would say the Endeavor is a science ship. It has a science module. So you can go in there and have fun with aliens.
Stocking.
I thought that was the probing ship.
Yeah. You ever watch the movie Sneakers? There's a movie called Sneakers that came out way back.
Yep.
Yeah. Cattle mutilations are up. Shut up, mother. Hangar 1. There we go. Coolant temp sitting at 56 degrees, and we're in Star Citizen, so... I'm going to move that computer out from underneath the desk, I think. Jack, thank you for stopping in. I know you're tired. I'm always happy to see you in chat. I hope to be able to catch your stream tomorrow at work. So you have a good night, sleep well, and tell... please tell Crumpet I said hello. For those of you who like Star Citizen streams, or just like to watch a good streamer in general, Jack Axton. Very good streamer. Usually has a very big pool.
I was requesting docking.
Oh. Yeah. Anyway, no worries. Later, man. Good luck with the run, and we'll do. Cool deal.
That's going to be the bad part about everybody getting voice attack. Our Discord's going to go all to hell.
No,
You go to push to talk.
Yeah.
No, I'll set a hotkey to mute Discord while I give commands.
I set that up
That's
today.
to use the push to cut.
I just haven't used it.
Well,
That's
there's
what I'm doing.
there's a keybind you can use for Discord that you can mute your mic. You can typically you can stream, but I don't know why Elite's not doesn't have the overlay on it. So I gotta look into that. Because that's usually how I tell who's online. Just look up in top left corner and see who joined the chat.
You are clear to launch.
Wait a minute. Isn't there a closer place to buy scrap? Yes. RL3 is closer.
That satisfying feeling when you avoid an interdiction.
Isn't it, though?
Oh, it's so good.
If you have HCS, they'll make comments, especially Kate. Kate's got a really funny one. If you go through my clips on Twitch, I clip that. It's got Kate's personality, and she's like, "Inch your face, interdictor, addictor."
That's great.
She's funny as hell. She's got a great personality.
She sells some weird stuff too.
Oh, she does. She does.
Own it like a car bonnet.
Mm-hmm. Every once in a while, she'll throw something in there, like basically telling you that you look sexy. I've only heard it twice. Ron mentioned it one day, and I was like, I've never heard mine say that. I don't know. I kind of feel dejected on it, and then I later heard it.
She'll tell you something about maybe you should use auto docking since you've both been drinking.
Oh, it's funny. We didn't plug Sharon's channel yet, Ron. Oh my god, I'm so fired. So fired.
Well, I find it kind of awkward plugging my own self. So.
I got no problem plugging Sharon's channel. Obviously, there's a command for it. I need to update the gear command to reflect the current specs. We'll do one more run, then we're gonna call it for the night. I was talking with it. Was it you, Johnny, that we were talking about Friday stream, or was it Rush? I don't remember now.
It was me and Rush. We were both here.
Okay. Do you guys intend to play Friday night Elite Dangerous a little bit, or you think you're gonna have other plans?
Be
I'll
playing.
here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Odds are, it's from the sounds of it, we're about to get at least a half an inch in ice to 3 inches in ice, and then 5 to 8 inches of snow on top of that. So I ain't going nowhere.
Okay.
It's not up to 3 inches of ice. We're expected 1/10 of an inch of ice, 1 to 3 inches of snow on top of it, and then 5 to 8 tomorrow.
Ooh.
Either way, it doesn't matter. We're not.
If we
getting
got 3 inches of ice, it would shut down the entire state.
I mean, I wouldn't be mad about it.
Okay.
Request docking.
All right. So I think we'll do.
Yes, I win.
What? It finally worked.
Yes, it opened. It went over. It went down. It went over. It pressed spacebar, and it pressed 1 again, and it all went away.
Awesome. Well done.
Now, the only other thing is I need to hotkey my throttle percentages and work on the whole Super Cruise. That one sounds like a lot more work to work on, though.
I don't know. I don't really think so. I mean, you're just going to be doing the same thing.
The throttle key, you can just use the keyboard that your muscle memory remembers to do the 75%.
I don't have those keybinds set up yet. That's why.
Use
your
numpad. Use your numpad, because people don't usually use their numpad. You can go over there and you can, like on mine, on my laptop, I had it set where, the numpad 1 was 25%, 2 was 50, 3 was 75, and plus was 100%. So I could just reach over and bang that plus key. I was at 100%. If I want to go to 75, I just slide my finger back and tap number 3. So you can easily do that, because those aren't natural. Those aren't normally bound in Elite Dangerous. I believe it's J is Super Cruise by default.
It is.
So that would be easy enough to do.
Well, I'm thinking about it. You ought to put those old Thrustmasters for sale in the joystick spot on Discord there.
Well, that's a good idea, actually.
Timeout. We were, because I know where Ron's going with this. We were talking about this last night. How I was interested in getting a mid-price joystick to try out, and Ron was trying to talk me into getting dual sticks and do all this other stuff. I was like, I just want one to control my flight, and he was like, "Oh, Pagan's got a couple that he probably sell. You just have to ask him about it." So that's the long story short of what happened there.
Okay. Well, he asked for a budget setup, blah blah blah, and budget use set of dual T16Ks would be a good way to start, right?
Oh hell yeah!
So, I mentioned it.
Thank you. I don't want to put any pressure on you, but if you are interested in it, we can definitely talk about it. I wouldn't have a problem selling them. But they would be at a fair price and not current market gouging. Let's fuck
I
everybody
I got
inside.
you. I think you'll agree with me, but right now is not a time to talk about that.
I totally agree. Alright, let's see if I can pull off a nice landing without bumping into the other end this time. Hey, Boots isn't here. We stand a decent chance of this. How'd we do? We did shitty. We did absolutely shitty. But we're here. No one died. Just a minimal amount of screeching from the in-flight stewardess. What are you doing, Pagan? There's a wall! There's a wall! Oh my god, he's gonna kill us.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Game over, man. Game over.
R.I.P. Bill Paxton. I kind of love that movie. So many usable quotes from that movie and the movie Predator. Oh man.
Just to be sure, we're nuke it from orbit. Yes. The building was a loss anyway. You don't need to go down there.
Yep. Just to be sure. So, a productive stream, I think. We mined. We demonstrated Star Citizen mining. We did some voice attack tutorials. People wrote commands. They're still writing commands.
Server broadcast greetings, commanders. Our servers will be down for maintenance in 30 minutes.
No.
I missed that.
I did not, thankfully, is in system main chat, and I happened to see, I saw the exclamation point, and I was like, I was looking for why I had an exclamation point, and I found it. So, yeah, you got
28 minutes.
All right.
I
We need to find somebody to
launch.
raid. Let's find somebody we can raid. Is there anybody playing Star Citizen tonight? Let's
Hold
find out.
on. Uno.
Let's find out. Let's go following.
I got some friends who might be playing.
Well, it don't sound like you're gonna find many people playing Elite.
Right.
They're playing
Both the guys I follow who play
No
Star
Man's Sky.
Citizen aren't playing, so I don't.
Because No Man's Sky just got a content update.
Somebody's mining Quantanium. Just a small stream, chill out. I actually prefer the ones with less people in them because usually you find better reactions with the
So
streamer.
appreciated. Yes.
Yep. It's hammer time. Is he in a retaliator? This guy's got 0 viewers and he's Quantanium mining, so I think we're going to go with metal kills. Hopefully he's not just parked at the menu right now. So let's go here. Let's go raid. Metal kills. And I appreciate everyone, and I will see you Friday. I'll probably stream Elite Dangerous at least for a little bit. If there's enough demand for it, we'll do some Star Citizen afterwards. But thank you everyone coming in.
All right.
Remember, you can always send me questions.
Request docking.